Yeah, so how have you been, dude?
Um, well, that's a very broad question, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I've been okay some days and not so okay other days.
Uh,
Mm.
okay, so
But as of late, I've been I would say I've been uh recovering.
mm-hmm.
I'm living in isolation. I'm in my own very lovely tourist place, riverfront. It's nice. So it's peaceful and it's quiet. So I've been recovering from all the hustle and bustle and noise of the populated areas.
Yeah, and how so have you been reconnecting with nature and stuff like that? 'Cause I can imagine you've slowed down quite a bit, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
But with regards to connecting with nature, I'm disappointed in myself, to be honest. The opportunity is there. Last time I went out,
Yeah.
I was, I was, I got stalked by a hippo.
Are you
So that kind of put me
so cool?
off. That kind of put me off for a bit.
But that's crazy to me. Like that's wild to me, right? That's very interesting to me.
Yes. The thing was just eyeing me the whole time I was walking along the riverbank. So
Yeah.
I was like, nah, this guy is planning something. I have to get out of here.
Wow, I like that because Wabana, I've kind of also been going through my own like version of seclusion, right?
Mm.
And so what I've been learning a lot is how to like slow down, you know? How to
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
just yeah, to slow down because I realized you notice life more fully when you're looking slowly.
Very true. Very, very true.
You know what I mean? And slowly is just a metaphor for patiently, without anxiety. Do you know what I'm saying? Without worry.
Yes.
You get?
But I'll admit this. I'll have to admit this to you that
Mm.
the worry comes back, man. I mean, I think the culprit is social media.
You
I
are
think the culprit is social
right.
media.
Yeah. No, listen, it's perfect. I think that's a perfect segue. Ne? Cause I love
Yeah.
that you brought social media into this. Ne? Do you see how when you
Mm.
detach, what I've experienced, right, is when I detach, right? When I go through a period of detachment from social media, that's when I notice, yo, time moves really slowly, and I realize, yo, there's a lot of time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
When I go back
Mm.
onto the airwaves and I'm reconnecting with everybody, and it feels like, I've been away, just catching up to stuff, I'm realizing eventually I'll be caught in a loop of ideas that are gonna make me forget the slowness that I was coming from. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then that gives me now a sense of urgency that I didn't have before I was on social media.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
It reminds me.
Mm.
It reminds me of Gulliver. There's a scene from Gulliver's Travels
Yeah.
where he gets stuck in some kind of casino type situation there,
Mhm.
and the time just passes without him realizing until I don't know. I don't remember the story properly, but it's exactly this experience where
Yeah.
you lose consciousness of time.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it's actually very very profound to actually experience that. I read it in the book, and
Mm.
obviously in the book it was a very mystical experience. They had portrayed it as some kind of enchantment that he was going through. But then when I actually experienced it,
Yes, right?
you know,
The moment the book jumps
like
out into reality, right? It's like the moment your
yeah,
mind jumps out into and becomes something you can touch.
indeed, indeed.
Ah, you know what I'm realizing? I feel like the distractions in life in general, ne, are keeping us from a lot of that.
Yeah, I am. They are.
Right? That's
They are.
that's crazy. Cause you see what I realized, okay, I've also been wrestling with weird anxiety, right?
And you'd think the older generation has a beat on things, but the truth is
Yo,
this is new territory for everyone.
listen, I'm starting to respect the elderly. You know what I'm saying? The older I get, the more respect I'm
Uh,
having for them, because I'm also realizing it's always like I'm a little kid. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
It's like
mm.
it just takes a lot of self-awareness to know that okay, I'm Kimaholo, I'm an unk out here, that type of thing and stuff. But
Dude,
like
yeah, that is so.
but inside I'm still that teenager. You know what I'm saying? Who's still trying
Mm,
to navigate life from what I thought was true, and still
mm.
facing that. Hey, I'm realizing cognitive dissonance, ne? It's gonna continue going on and on and on, like as you just continue to grow and learn new things. You
Yeah, yeah. But the younger generation are forcing us out of that space. I mean, I admit it.
know?
The whole concept of adulting,
Yeah.
I didn't take it seriously or consider what people were actually referring to.
Mm,
But because I genuinely enjoy this adolescent attitude that our generation has even in their 20s and 30s. You know
mm.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
personally feel it's an expression of personal freedom. However, it doesn't it sort of ignores that there are other younger generations coming along, and they, because of, I don't know if it's because of their youth
Mm,
or it's just nature,
mm.
they're forcing us out of that psychological space.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if you do something similar.
No, no, listen, I feel like you just described something that we couldn't see, but now we see it because it's happening to us. That's crazy.
Dude.
Right? Because I'm realizing where we at the point we are at, like us millennials, right? At the point we're at, there's a generation below us with full personalities, like fully formed personalities to some degree. Do you know what I'm saying? For
Mm.
them to
Mm.
to 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 have their own weight of opinion. Yes, to have their own weight of opinion. And I'm realizing,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like also a passing of a crown of youth. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes, as we are joining the elders now, like we're passing on. Oh snap, that's crazy, dude. You described it perfectly. That's insane. That's
Yeah,
exactly what's
man.
happening. Yes. Ah.
But I'll admit that although I like how you put it. I like how positively you put it, because I have to admit that it's generated a lot of anxiety with me personally. I feel quite anxious because I like you said, this is something that the older generation probably also went through, isn't it?
Yeah,
However, they they gave us quite a good impression.
they really did. Ooh, they really did. Because
They sold it
because
well, bruh.
I'm realizing I think there's a bubble that burst once I got to adulthood for what adulthood really is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of us
Uh,
had that. Yeah, a lot of us, I think it's like a lot of my goodness, a lot of like social stuff is
mm.
reactions to that. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
And
It
and
is,
in some
man.
cases, the reaction is so extreme, either to the positive or to the negative. You know what I mean? Because because this is where one thing I've been talking like with my friends who have children, ne? Oh snap, listen, if you and pay attention, perk up your ears. Because
Yes.
I'm starting to I'm understanding where I get it now. My peers have friends. I mean have children. Basically we're at the age where we have the uncles and the parents. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm
Mm.
realizing just in our generation, there's a point where our parents felt like they lost control of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When we were like realizing ourselves, and basically becoming our own people.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
But can you identify that point? I have to ask because for me it's felt more gradual than a flip, you know?
Yes, I think what's happening is the realization is quick, ne? But the actual how it's actually been happening has been slow, and it's still slow, and even we're still in it as we're talking about it right now, which is I think what excites me is that we're catching something that we're inside of as it's happening right now.
Hmm.
You know
Do
what
you
I'm
think
saying?
it's later for us than it was for them?
Later in
The
what?
realization. The
Ooh,
realization. I mean,
no, I think it's earlier actually.
oh yeah?
I think
Wow,
it's
okay.
early. I think we're
Hmm.
early to the realization. Uh,
Eh,
because I see us, we're still kids. Do you get it? Like in as much as we're still where we are entering, the elders, I see us still being the kids we've always been.
hmm. But
Whereas,
but but
uh
when they were this age, right?
yeah,
Were they I mean if we acknowledge the fact that it's a similar experience
yeah,
they as theirs.
mm.
When they were this age, were they merely pretending to be more mature than their years, or had they made a smoother transition? Because
Yeah,
I agree with you when you
yeah,
say, I mean, an example comes to mind when you say we may be early, because I've observed a lot of unconsciousness in I respect my elders too. I really do,
yeah, yeah.
and the respect comes from a great deal of humility,
Mm,
from from whatever challenges they may have faced to be able to keep things together.
mm,
But I still observe a certain unconsciousness. I don't know if it's purposeful ignorance
mm.
or what's going on, but it seems to me that a lot of our seniors
Yeah.
are very they are not as self-conscious as us.
Mm,
So
mm.
their behavior isn't so examined. They're not so reflective of
Ooh.
their behavior as we are. I mean, unfortunately, it appears like a lot of us are so self-conscious, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because we are so reflective of the experience.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to put together what you may mean. I mean, for the longest I thought we were late because
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
illusion that we created. But now I realize that
Now,
you do have a point.
because you know what you've just been saying right now, Ibile, I love it. I love it. Especially when you talk about the reflectivity and how reflective we are, right? Like just in
Mm,
comparison, I think. Because I mean it's by now it's kind of like it's known, okay, like the boomers are like old dog. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? And then as the generations come, I feel like the millennials are the most flexible in this particular moment in terms of
mm,
connecting with the generation above them and the one below them. The ones above us are still I feel like what you described, I feel like you were describing the lost causeness of that we are the adults and we know, and then we get here and we realize now actually we don't know. Do you get what I'm
mm.
saying?
Yes.
Because it's like we broke through a veil. Do you get it? And we are now the
Yeah.
ones telling everybody what's behind the veil, that yo, it's not what you thought, guys. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's deep because who controls that veil though, right? I mean, I would
Ooh.
have loved to have complete control over that veil. To go back to the point you raised earlier about
Yeah, yeah.
control, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's to me it's seeming less and less. It feels more and more internal in somebody's own mental cognition than social, right?
Yeah.
Because uh, that veil, which has kept us in the dark in our maturing, right,
Mm.
was something that I believed was placed there by the latter generation, the older generations,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
However, after breaking through it, I'm like, really, these people don't look like they have the competence to keep up such a perfect veil.
No, listen. I'm with you. I'm right there with you, right? And you must understand, like, so on the other side of that, now just been trying to say, okay, what went wrong? What happened? Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because what I'm realizing, because that's why I love when you talked about our reflectivity. You get?
Hmm.
Because that's now where I get it. The stiffness came from not being reflective, in the
Yes.
generations before us. So,
Or as they like to claim, a
yeah,
deeper reflection. They claim they are stiff because of a deeper
it's
reflection,
fine.
but
Okay.
their
Yeah.
stiffness isn't bearing results, you know?
Uh-huh. Because okay, in fact, I like that. Okay, let's talk about levels of reflection, right? So Bona, they had the reflection up to black people are also people, free the slaves, free the colonies, right? And then that's the
Mm,
world we were born into. And then we basically
mm.
now we dug into the pause and saw that now we can actually go deeper than this. And that's where we
Yes.
are now.
Hey, we can express those freedoms in a more sophisticated manner.
And
And
that
and and
yes. And
and usually that seems to be counterintuitive to them because it kind of contradicts what they had to be back then. I mean, back then they had to draw the line in the sand.
yeah,
Now we are like the line is the problem. You know?
mm,
You
because
see
in
what
some
I mean?
cases we're realizing we want to make sure we understand the line before we accept any line.
Yes, that's better. That's yes.
Because
Yes.
essentially now we are the ones trying to balance and trying to actually draw boundaries we understand and are okay with and are beneficial to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because
mm.
so it's like we're the generation that started like changing the boundaries, and it started by us noticing that okay, the ones that had been accepted by the ones before us, nah, I think we can do better, and because I'm realizing there's a sense there's a level at which, ne, um, from the generation coming before us, there's some good and some bad that can come from it too.
Mm.
Cause
Yes,
you know
yes.
what I'm saying? Because I'm realizing that down there, because now when we look at down there, what are the things that have caught at the root? There's a dark tree also that has caught at the root down there. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? The whole brain rot stuff, because that's like a broad spectrum of things that people are like crazy about on social media, right? And
Mm, yes,
and a lot of the generation coming below us are coming with that. But then within there's also a lot of new intelligence coming up as well. The same way we were new intelligence. Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So it's like,
And then there's a
yeah.
there's another community. I don't know if it's the new intelligence one, where in the older generation, they are those who were ahead of their time,
Yes. Ooh.
and
Yes.
so
Mm.
so the influences that they had on us, for example,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
gave us a certain impression that we are somewhere we are not, in terms of
Mm.
like, it gave us the impression that we are more civilized, for example,
Mm, mm, mm.
than we actually are when you look at the numbers, when you look at the statistics and the facts on the ground,
Yeah.
because they were ahead of their time. They could see, and
They inflated the numbers.
yeah, some obviously not always intentionally, right?
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
yes. No, I get you. I get you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mm,
Sorry, no. Because this one is exciting me. Because this is where some people who don't completely align with certain people who have been ahead of the times have had those people as figureheads for them to continue certain nonsenses behind them.
mm, mm,
You know what I'm
mm.
saying? But then the individual who that thing was coming from was indeed ahead of their time. Because you know another thing that got me excited when you were talking about people ahead of their time. Because now as we can see each other in our different generations, that's where
Mm.
actually we are all meeting each other through our similarities that go beyond generations.
Yeah, the age of reconciliation. There's definitely
Yes.
a great deal of reconciliation between the generations.
You get it, because this is where now Rona le Rona, we won't discard everybody who's coming from down. It's all brain rot. We'll be able to identify the light also that's coming from down there. And while we're also
Yeah.
not completely not listening to the older generation, just putting them to the side, because there's also some there who can see where we're coming from. And those are basically that's evidence of that's one of us who came before us.
Yes, and more importantly is
Mm.
how best to handle that character, because what I noticed is those before were too excited. They were genuinely too excited, and
Mm.
they they, 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 they they saw it as praiseworthy for somebody to be ahead of their peers.
Yes.
And I personally feel they mishandled the relationships that should have been established after having those kinds of realizations.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, it is praiseworthy. It is important to point something that is distinguishable, right?
Yeah.
However, how do you handle it now? How do we relate with those younger ones who are able to peer through the veil before their peers?
Hmm.
How do we how do we relate with them? I mean, do we put them on a pedestal like how they did with our generation?
Mm.
Or do we learn from the consequences of that? Because I see a lot of consequences of that.
Yeah.
The whole idea that we are special, and so we're in the new age,
Yeah.
so you can do whatever you want. Excessive liberalism,
Mm.
unchecked. You know, it was unchecked. There were no boundaries whatsoever. And boundaries was something that was considered backward instead of conservative, which
Mm.
is not necessarily backward, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where my greatest fear is. My greatest fear is my greatest anxiety as a parent, as you said,
Mm.
is how to handle that. I mean, if I meet a kindred spirit
Yeah.
who is an adolescent today, or a young adult today,
Mm.
how do I um, appreciate that kindredness without
Mm.
without nurturing that dark tree that you talked about? You know what I mean?
Dude, I love that question. That's a beautiful question.
Mm.
Yo, because do you know what? Listen, one of this age of reconciliation thing that you were talking about,
Mm.
as you're talking about everything you just said, I'm realizing when you said the generation before us, they were too excited, and then basically when they would see that thing, they would push it to the front and want to like rally behind it, and that we're realizing the wrongness in doing that, ne?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook is great, but is it really?
No, because basically what I'm saying is what the problem that we are trying to assess now is we're trying to now manage emotions. Do you get
Mm-hmm.
it? So it's like the generation before us, basically we were coming from deep darkness, like complete, like you know what I'm being like, like okay, just from an African standpoint, right? We were coming from
Yeah.
real darkness. Do you get? And then so the
Mm.
first freedom to compared to the last darkness, it felt like the best freedom ever. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then
I know. Yeah, I see what you mean.
you
Yes,
get, and
yes.
then now we were born into that freedom. We never knew that other darker darkness. Do you get? But then
Mm,
in this freedom, we could see that now it's still dim here. It can get brighter.
mm,
And I
mm.
feel like that's the way, that's the way of the evolution of the human beings. It's like the babies literally are going to take the standard that you've raised and take it higher because that becomes their
Yeah.
norm.
So you see, now that's where it becomes very important to be careful,
Yes.
because
Hmm.
where is it going if
No, no,
you?
you're absolutely right because you know what I'm realizing. Wabana, the you know if I could just have like a dream come true, ne? It would be
Mm,
if um certain things only God was paying for them. Ne?
Yes.
Only God was paying for those things, right? Because that's when we would literally see the real value of the human mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because this world,
So,
ne, I just want to say, hold that thought, ne? Because this world, the big problem that I can see at the like just at a big glance, ne, is that we've created positions in this world that are supposed to represent real authority that exists in the mind, ne? But in many cases, the people who should be in those positions are not the ones in charge. So, like you have the king is a pauper, right?
mm,
And
mm,
the most ignorant fool is the king and is controlling the wisest person on earth.
mm.
Do you get what I'm saying? So that's the mismatch.
I do. I do. Mm.
That's the mismatch because if you put the right power in the right authority, this thing is gonna work well.
So you are saying we shouldn't overhaul or necessarily sacrifice the infrastructure. We simply need to identify clearly
Oh no 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 no
who.
no. I think the I think listen, how long the infrastructure has been, ne? It has shown that
Mhm.
the owners of the infrastructure are never going to allow it to be you to operate fairly.
Ah, ah.
I'm realizing that unfairness is by design, and that unfortunately is the reason why the world is still a bitter place. Because this is literally
Yeah.
at the top level, and they're allowing unfairness at the top level. So us, the small people, we're feeling it down here on the ground. And that's the bitterness of
Mm,
life. Just but manifesting
mm,
in different cases. Listen, I was talking to a lady who runs a tuck shop, ne? Listen, and
mm,
she's Motswana, so this was not like some xenophobia stuff. I believe she's Motswana, but like apparently, it's like she's had visitations from officers, many times, thinking she's like selling illegal stuff and whatnot and whatnot. And one
mm,
time,
mm.
I think somebody let slip that no, we just don't know why your business hasn't failed by now. So I'm like, this is authority speaking.
Wow.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like there's
I
that
do. I
legal
do.
envy. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
That
Yeah, I've
envy.
seen that a lot, bruh.
You get what I'm saying? And it's like, because so you have
Mm.
people, the system is literally looking at people with envious eyes. And that's the highest controller of the earth.
Because it's so impersonal. I mean, if at least if it was within the person, how do you deal with it when it's coming systemically like that?
You know what
You
I'm
know what I
saying?
mean?
And so,
Because
so
I can
hmm.
get I can get why a certain individual may be jealous, right? It's a
Yeah.
human thing, it's a human emotion. So it
Hmm.
makes sense that okay, no, this person grew up with this person seems to be getting away with murder, but the other person is like, how? So
Hmm.
at a personal level, it makes perfect sense. But now when it gets institutional, where it's like, no, I'm doing my job. We are supposed to check and see why your business is doing so well, and probably even stress test it. It's so
Bro.
terrible. It's
Nah. It's crazy.
so I that's what really concerns me. Like limit us on my kid and prepare him also for participating in all of this. Is it even a good idea for him to participate?
Yo,
You know?
I've been thinking about that for the past couple of weeks, actually. This whole participation in this society, basically, and this
Mm,
reality the way it is.
mm.
And I've been thinking,
Because
how do you think? We just have to think a way out of it.
now we all I have my ideas.
Okay.
You just you know I have my ideas,
Oh yeah,
but I've become I mean I've been humbled. I really have been humbled. Because um I've had moral crises. I'm somebody who has a very, personally speaking, I
yeah.
have a very strong uh, opinion of myself.
Mm.
I have very, very, I know myself to be very, very stubborn with my ideas,
Mm.
and not on, and it hasn't always served me, right?
Mm.
However, I have had the opportunity to reflect on that.
Mm.
With the frequency of encounters, I realized, oh, there's a pattern here, and maybe this is not the healthiest pattern. So I reflected on that, right?
Mm.
Now, I'm finding that the attempt to implement whatever ideas I develop from those reflections is is almost impossible. I mean, I don't know what the word is. I don't see how it can be effective without that reconciliation, you know?
Mm.
Because because the old guard had a very powerful individual drive to accomplish things, you
Mm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And they built a system that attempts to prop that up and reward it. So everyone is trying to gain notoriety for their own ideas, regardless of how rudimentary or bad those ideas may be.
Mm. Mm.
People are just gonna try and get the idea some airplay, you know,
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
because this is me, it's my expression, it's my freedom of expression, I can change the world, Steve Jobs, you know.
Mm.
Now, I'm discovering that although I grew up, that is the source of my strong opinion of myself. The
Mm.
source of my strong opinion of myself is the previous generation, which got liberated from slavery, saying, okay, now what do you do with the freedom? And then they're like, well, we've never been free before, so let the kids do whatever they want to do, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
then the kids go on to implement some very rudimentary ideas, and they flourish. Those ideas flourish unchecked,
Mm-hmm.
and even sometimes catch like a fire globally, right?
Yeah.
Now, we're paying the tax for that dis dis that unchecked
That's brilliant. Yeah.
um flourishing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
really are. I mean we
Wow, that's
like,
brilliant. Yeah.
so I'm afraid now. I know okay, I'm anxious. The word is anxious. I'm anxious about how much impact the attempt to implement my opinionated
Mm.
self, or to impose my opinionated self on the rest of society is,
I get you.
without some level of reconciliation. I mean, I personally feel if you and I are having this discussion, right? For example, perfect example,
Yeah.
we have to come to some consensus, not because I persuaded you or you persuaded me, but because we both saw it. We saw the light,
Yeah.
and
No, I
then
get you. I get you.
acted, and then acted on that. However, the tools that are available in societies, they seem to reward persuasion more than consensus
That's true.
on how to move forward. You know?
Yes, that's true. Do you know what I'm thinking? So this thing is what's it like 2 minutes, ne? For the thing
Uh-huh.
what I had. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking actually we should continue from here.
Error.
Maybe tomorrow or the day after. Because I have to actually leave right now. But I'm glad
No,
we
of course, of course.
Hey, cause so
Eh, eh,
you know what I'm gonna do? So let's say I will upload this to a Google Drive so that you can also listen back. I get,
yes.
and then Lynn,
And then we can plan a more structured approach, perhaps.
yes, and even like some of the topics that we talk here, because I think I'll listen and then I'll see how much I can edit. I'll chop it up because I think we talked about different things. So like I'll just chop it up into like different segments. You know where if
Nice. And then we can go into each one. We can go into each of them systematically and
yeah,
get deeper. Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because I feel like this one as a starter, it has opened enough things for us to like continue on.
Yes. Yes.
Especially
Yes.
this last thing that you were talking about. I feel because you know what I love this conversation. what the main thing that popped out to me is that we are inside something that's moving and we are realizing its nature.
Mm,
You get me?
mm,
So I feel like as we
mm.
continue to talk about these things, the answer is emerging. Do you get what I'm saying?
Then we'll know what to do. Then we'll know what to
Exactly.
do.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? Because
But on your own, you see why on your own is very difficult.
yes,
I love podcasts, but I love discussions more, you know?
100%. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 100%. Because because this is where Len I'm seeing where we are literally each other's eyes. And when we listen to each
Yeah.
other, we are really adding your divine ointment and my divine ointment. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm also applying mine to your eyes. You're applying yours to my eyes. Do you get it?
Very, very much so. And I'd love to see that develop, you know?
I get it.
It's exciting. It's exciting, but now how do we develop it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think reflecting on this discussion would definitely help us maybe set a list of questions
Mm.
and then answer those questions and
We
then
got like
decide
30 seconds.
if the yes, answer those questions and then decide if those answers are satisfactory before we move on.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine. And let's look at this long term. I get it.
R
Hey,
R.
hey, thank you. No, ke lebohile. Yo, thank you so much. This was amazing.
No, it's a pleasure, Joe. And yeah, we see each other. I see you, mate.
I see you, bro.
We'll
I see you.